The point I'm trying to make is that, though, whatever he said was a gift. There were a lot of people stuck in a lot of positions. I can tell with what the market did with the Mag 7. Last week started with Palantir, Nvidia, all these stocks. Even today, Nvidia and Mag 7 are not acting well. But what I'm watching now closely is that should I be, because for the past 6 years, 7 years, Mag 7 and the top 10 stocks in the S&P 500, and those 7 of them are Mag 7, have become close to 35% of the S&P 500. And there's something else called, there's smaller stocks. They're still billion-dollar companies, but they're part of an index called Russell 2000. Russell 2000 companies are heavily dependent on interest rates. So they do like lower interest rates, smaller companies, because they do use a lot of debt and not much cash flow shows up in their bottom line. So they do use quite a bit of debt. So lower interest rates may be good actually for the Russell 2000 stocks. And with the Mag 7 not doing much, that's why NASDAQ and S&P 500 are up a little bit. So the top 10 is okay, a couple of percentage points here and there, but the S&P 500 is up. Last time I checked, about 1.5%. So where is that coming from? It's coming from the rest of the group. The 490 stocks who haven't done much during this all-time high grind that we've been experiencing, because at the moment the generals were carrying, right, this fight. Well, now the soldiers may be getting involved, because if we're going to be in a lower interest rate lowering cycle, those Russell 2000 stocks and the rest of S&P 500 may like it. So there may be some rotation happening here. And you can see today there is some rotation going on. The rotation is, let's not just go buy crazy Mag 7 at high valuations, but let's just buy some of these beaten down stocks, right? And in the S&P 500, you will find about 400 out of the 500 stocks have not really done anything close to what the indexes have done. So I'm watching the Russell 2000, I'm watching the rest of the S&P 500, and I think rotation for myself, right, is the right thing to do. Nvidia only being up a couple of points when NASDAQ is up 400 is kind of strange, right? In the old days, well, where would Nvidia be? It'd be up 10%. Well, it's not. Palantir will be up 10%. It's not. So I'm watching all these signs, and I'm not going to rotate yet, but there is time for rotation, because the S&P 500 has outperformed every other index, except with the exception of triple Q, obviously. Specifically, if you look at a ratio of Russell 2000 versus S&P 500, S&P 500, there are charts for these. You can Google it too. AI will probably put one together for you. S&P 500 has been outperforming the Russell 2000 for 6-7 years now. But when that rotation starts happening, right, we're talking trillions of dollars rotating, selling the top 10 of the S&P 500. That doesn't mean they're going to go down or crash or anything like that. But the rotation happens because the top 10 stocks, right, they're 3-4, well, in NVIDIA's case, $4.5 trillion market cap. But all the other stocks in the S&P 500, if you look at market capitalization, and as you guys know, S&P 500 is a market cap weighted index, the rotation will happen, and you guys will see it in the charts of these stocks, of the secondary stocks in the S&P 500 or Russell 2000. They'll start going up. Well, the moves will be much larger for the fact that when rotation happens, trillions of dollars start rotating. These stocks don't have that many outstanding shares. Like, as you know, Nvidia has, let's say, 2 billion shares outstanding, or 3 billion shares outstanding. But when you look at a $5 billion market cap company in a Russell 2000 stock, they probably have 50, 80, 100 million shares outstanding. So to move those stocks with the rotation is going to be a lot fiercer and a lot easier. So that's what I'm going to watch next week. I cleaned up a lot of stuff today. I cut the, I'm literally like 88, 90% cash now. I just want to take a breath. This was a gift to a lot of people. A lot of people were stuck, I can tell. And so, yeah, that's where we are. And Jay Powell, I guess he got nervous. He didn't want to get arrested. But, yeah, I mean, those news reading algos, that was something in the morning, right? The market actually was about to sell off, because it was like NASDAQ was up 100. It went down to unchanged. And I'm watching this 2-minute candle. It was like a straight up screaming candle. NASDAQ went from 0 to plus 300 on NASDAQ in like 3.5 minutes. So I'm like, hey, that's what happens.